guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about all of the things that I wish I knew before IB year 1. I felt like this was kind of a fitting video for my 1000 subscriber special just because this is the reason that I haven't been making as much content. So currently I'm actually in the middle of my second year of IB. We're just about to finish the semester. So I feel like I kind of have a good enough idea where I can really reflect on the first year of IB. I feel like some of these points are a little bit more like commonly said around the internet, but a few of them are something that I don't think I've really ever heard before. Say hi to my cat. So here are 10 things that I wish I knew before IB year 1. So the first thing that I wish I knew about IB year 1 is that it's going to be way easier than year 2. I feel like this is a point that a lot of people make, but they don't really emphasize it as much as I think that people should. Because with year 1, you're basically just like doing a lot of coursework maybe. But with year 2, like you're preparing for all of your exams, you're like doing so much more than you had to do year 1. And had I known that year 1 was going to be so much easier, I think I would have made an effort to like actually take a break and avoid doing burnout. Like I feel like I was so stressed year 1 for no reason, and I like went 100% the entire year when really I should have been pacing myself better just so that like I would be better off this year. The second point that I have is that balancing like your hobbies, your extracurriculars, and like your schoolwork is so much harder than like any course that is an IB. Before I was taking AP classes, and those just by comparison to even IB year 1 is so much easier. I think it's partly just you're only taking like maybe 2 or 3 AP courses at most. And like with IB, you're gonna be taking entirely IB courses. And like the expectations for IB are just bigger and like more than for AP courses. So like I was planning on having a part-time job throughout year 2, and that's just not going to be realistic for me, honestly. Like just the amount of coursework that I'm expected to do, like, and then I also have like many hobbies and like extracurricular activities that I have to do. Like I just could not have a part-time job, which is the main reason why I'm taking a gap year. But I had a really hard time balancing like all of the clubs that I wanted to do and everything with my classwork, which can be kind of annoying if you're used to doing a lot of clubs and sports and all kinds of hobbies and stuff, because I've had a hard time really making time for myself and the things I like to do. Point number 3 is that you're going to have to kiss multiple choice goodbye completely. Like, I never really had that much multiple choice since like primary school, but it was really noticeable with like small quizzes and stuff that we were still doing written responses instead of doing multiple choice. I feel like for any student that really does do a lot of multiple choice quizzes or like even exams, like it's gonna be a really, really big shock that you're gonna be doing a lot of written responses, you're gonna be doing a lot of essays and stuff instead of taking multiple choice quizzes. The next point is that I'm just not gonna be perfect. I felt really like the urge to have straight hundreds all the way through year 1 because that was just the expectations I had for myself going through the beginning of high school. And you just really can't compare yourself to like where you were before because the coursework is going to be more difficult. Like I knew some kids that did have like really high grades, but I don't think anybody had like straight hundreds all the way through the year for every single class. And that was sort of the expectation I was putting myself to. Like I still did fairly well, like I was like 95s and above for everything year 1, but really expecting yourself to be completely perfect is just not realistic for IB because they're not expecting you to be perfect. It's supposed to be challenging work. So like don't beat yourself up if you're not having completely perfect marks on all your exams and you're doing really well in all your classes. But honestly, I felt like that was a point that a lot of people don't talk about. Because like they'll immediately go, oh, the coursework is hard, like you're gonna have to be really smart and you have to be really talented if you really want to get through it. And that's just not really the case. You can just hold yourself to like a slightly lower standard than you normally would. Point number 5 is that organization is key. I feel like anybody who's really academically minded knows the importance of being organized, but with IB I think it's even more important. Because unlike with like an AP course or like regular studies, you can just basically ignore everything you learned the year before and move on the year after that and not have too many problems. Like there's exceptions where like if you're taking algebra 2, like you need to know algebra 1. But with IB, like the emphasis on really carrying over what you do year 1 to your second year is just so much more. where like I'm taking math applications, and if I didn't remember the stuff from year 1 going into year 2 and then taking my exams, I would have been screwed because half of the content, more than half of the content, was in the first year. And so being organized, having review, and like having assignments from the previous years so that when you go to revise for your exams in year 2, you're like actually prepared. So like while organization is like a fairly standard like concept for studies, I feel like for IB year 1 it's even more important, because the last thing you want to do is to go to year 2, have no resources to study, and then you're just like there trying to create all of your resources from scratch when you should have done it during year 1. Point number 6 is one that people talk about all the time, but I'm going to reiterate it here, and that is to do CAS year 1, because I didn't do CAS year 1, and it's just becoming so much more annoying, because the last thing you want to do is to be doing your CAS project at the end of the year when you're so close to graduating. And it's like, it's a graduation requirement to get your diploma, you have to do CAS. And so if you're not going to do it year 1, at least do it first semester, which I haven't done either. But like, even if your teachers haven't gone over CAS, because like people say do CAS first year, but not actually tell you what CAS is, like do your own research, talk to your teachers, like get your project approved so that you can get started on it, because while year 1 can be stressful, like it's nothing compared to year 2, it would be better for you to just get it over with now. This other point is something that was really important when I found out, and that is that there's a bunch of resources, and like it's super easy to find communities online for IB students, because we are international and there's people from all kinds of backgrounds that are coming together just to talk about IB. So you will have a lot of people that can really help you online, or there's a bunch of resources to help you with your courses. I think I'll link some of them in the description below, but they might not work for your courses, but there's just a lot of stuff out there. Like IB is very established. There's a lot of people that are taking these courses, so don't feel like you're alone. It's super easy to find resources and find help online. Number 8 might be a little bit controversial, but one thing that I wish I knew going into year 1 is that TOK can actually be fun if you allow it to be fun. Like going into it, everyone would be like, oh, I hate TOK, I hate doing CAS, blah, blah, blah. But I actually found TOK to be actually fun when I was actually engaging in the conversations, like really paying attention in class, because it was like taking a psychology course, but you didn't need to know all of the like super important vocabulary terms that people that are like taking IB psychology are. And I just found it to be really fun to be taking a course like that. It wasn't anything like I'd ever done before in school. But I wish I hadn't let all of like the negativity around like what TOK was and that it wasn't fun like kind of bring me down, because like for the first like month of school I was like automatically just assuming it was going to be a bad class. But like I don't know if it was just my teacher or if it was just the stuff we were going over, but I really had a good time with the class. Number 9 is actually like one of the biggest benefits I think about IB, and that is that everyone that is in the program with you for the most part is going to be there because they want to be there. So you're going to be around a lot of more academically minded people, and I found that to be so comforting in my first year, because I remember like being in even higher level courses throughout school where there were certain kids that just really didn't want to be there. Like even if they were capable, they just didn't want to. And so being in a course where like basically everyone there is like there for different reasons, but at the end of the day they're there because they want to succeed, they want to do more. And so it was just really nice to be around people that had similar values around education and people that wanted to work just as hard as I did. My last point is that you actually have to be really motivated to persevere. I feel like this is something that a lot of kids didn't know going into IB, because so many people dropped it. Like it was actually really sad because there were a lot of students who were dropping IB courses just because they didn't realize how tough it was actually going to be. Even though year 1 is way easier than year 2, it is still more difficult than the other courses kids could be taking. And if you don't have a real reason or motivation for being in an IB course, you're likely to not really do well or not want to be there. Like the reason I'm taking it is because I want to get my IB diploma so that I can study abroad in England. And like that is something that's like very close to my heart. That's something I really want to do. But there were some kids that were there because they were hoping it would like look good on resumes to universities or jobs or something. And if that's your only reason and you don't feel really strong for it, you're probably not going to have like the perseverance to keep going even when it gets more difficult. Like, IB isn't just something you do to make yourself look a little bit better to colleges and universities. It's something you do if you have like a real reason behind it. Like, even if you just want to challenge yourself academically, like, I think IB is a really, really good option, because I know kids that are not planning on going to like really big universities or traveling abroad or anything, but they just really like to challenge themselves and they're still in IB. So that is actually all of the things that I wish I knew before IB year 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it works as a good 1K subscriber video, because I hit the milestone like 3 weeks ago, a month ago, and I was planning on doing stuff, but because of like the IB course load, I've just had a hard time finding time to sit and film, especially now that it's like winter time and the sun just sets so early, and like I'm busy on the weekends doing schoolwork. But I made time this week to film a couple of videos, so I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want any more like IB related videos, because I know like all the ones online are really like 10 years old at this point, I swear, I can always do more videos, and you can leave questions in the comments below. I'll try to leave resources in the description if you need like resources for studying, or like maybe links to some of my other videos where I'm like studying for IB stuff, I don't know. But I really do appreciate the support. I started this channel like 3 years ago, but like it's gone through a lot of phases. So really, like, the content that's on my channel now, it's like a year old, and I would have never thought that like in a year I would have hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching. If you really like this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!